Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my first impressions plus on-feet video of the Adidas X15.3. Now inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So let me get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the second takedown model in the new Adidas X lineup. So at the top of the line, you have the X15.1, which retails for $220 US. Below that, you have the X15.2, which retails for $110. And then below that, you have these guys right here, the X15.3, which retails for $70 US. Certainly not cheap, but certainly not expensive either. It's kind of more of a budget-oriented model, and that definitely does show in the quality. So in today's video, we're going to go over all the tech specs. We're going to talk about the weight. We're going to talk about how these things fit and feel, and basically cover whether or not these things are actually worth the $70 asking price. So if you are interested in learning more about the X15.3, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the very first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $70 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk tech specs and really what you're getting for the $70 asking price. Now this, just like the X15.1 and X15.2, does feature a synthetic material for the upper. Unlike those higher end models that feature much higher end synthetic materials, this features an unnamed synthetic that is significantly thicker and significantly lower quality than what you're going to find on the 0.1 and 0.2 models. It still has some nice softness to it. It doesn't necessarily feel uncomfortable on your foot, but it certainly doesn't ooze quality either. It is on the cheaper side in comparison to the models above it, but kind of par for the course in terms of what else is available in this particular price range. Obviously, the comparable model from another brand would be the Nike Mercurial Victory 5, and in comparison to that shoe, I would say the synthetic is very, very similar. Not necessarily better or worse, but similar. With that being said, and this is really just in regards to the upper itself, when you're spending $70 or so on a pair of shoes, if you guys have ever looked at the comments on my videos, I tend to respond to most of the questions that get asked. A lot of people do like to ask me, what is the best shoe I can buy on a lower budget in the $70 price range or so? And often I recommend something like the Nike Tiempo Genio. And that's not just because I think the Tiempo Genio is a good shoe or the best shoe around for the money. I just think that if you're going to be spending lower amounts of money on your shoes, you're better off going for natural leather uppers as opposed to cheaper low-end synthetics. Just because natural leather, you kind of know what you're getting all the time, and it's always going to be better quality, softer, more comfortable, offer a better touch than these cheaper synthetics, which are only going to feel cheap for their entire lifespan. So whether it's the Nike Tiempo Genio or any other kind of lower cost natural leather soccer shoe you can get your hands on, if you only have a small amount of money to spend, look for something with natural leather as opposed to a low-end synthetic, because like I said, it's just going to be more comfortable and offer better feel in the long run, not to mention just being better quality in general. Or if you do have $70 to spend, the best thing you can do as well is take a look at what's on sale. Don't settle for the latest takedown model, because often you can get an older colorway or an older model that's much higher end and much better quality for the same price. A great place to go ahead and check that out is the super deals section on my website, which I'll leave a link to down below in the description of this video. Now, again, synthetic upper, kind of unnamed, nothing too crazy about it. It doesn't really have any of the same texturing that you're going to find on the X15.1. You can see it does have that kind of artificial, almost carbon fiber woven-like graphic there, and it does add some very, very minor texturing to the upper. You do, of course, have the chaos graphic on the lateral and medial side as well. On the medial side, it's kind of just printed on. It's not actually an extra layer of material. And on the lateral side, it's actually embossed onto the shoe, which also has no impact on performance or feel. It's pretty much just for aesthetics only. Laces run through the middle. As you guys can see, it has some pretty chunky laces, which is kind of unusual. I'm not sure why Adidas does this on a lot of their takedown models. It does have a standard tongue. It does, of course, have an internal plastic heel counter, but does not have the Tech Fit collar like you're going to find on the 0.1 and 0.2 models, which in my opinion actually makes for a slightly better heel lockdown than what you're going to find from those shoes. This actually has a similar setup to what you're going to find from the leather X15.1 with a nice synthetic suede material material that actually feels pretty good for the $70 price tag. I'm not going to lie about that. The insole is non-removable, although it's only kind of halfway glued in, so if you really wanted to pull it out and change it out for something else, you definitely could do that fairly easily, but it's just a standard layer of foam with a mesh liner on top, nothing too fancy at all. Then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern. The sole plate, obviously it's not the same exo frame that you're going to find on that top end model. It's just a single piece of plastic that honestly doesn't feel that much different from the top end shoe. It's just a little bit thinner, which could in turn make the shoe not quite as durable, especially if you are going to be using these things on artificial grass. And then of course, speaking of artificial grass, you get the X-Class stud pattern, the same one that you're going to find across the entire X line, which is of course a firm ground artificial grass stud pattern kind of hybrid system. So you can use this on firm natural grass as well as artificial grass, although I would make the argument that this is definitely more of an FG sole plate as opposed to an AG one. Works really well on both surfaces, although on artificial grass I did find that it is a little bit clingy and doesn't really feel like a true AG stud pattern in my opinion. But on firm natural grass, the performance is absolutely fantastic, and if you do plan on using these pretty much exclusively on artificial grass, you're going to have to use your own discretion, because in my opinion, I just don't think that this is the best AG option, but overall the traction does work really, really well. Probably the strongest feature on the X15.3. So that is pretty much it in terms of what you're getting for your $70. Again, is this the best option for 70 bucks? If you try them on and you really like how they feel, you like how they look, then sure, go for it. But if you're buying online and you have lots and lots to choose from, for your $70, I think you do have better options out there. In regards to weight, I thought we'd compare the X15.3 to the top of the line X15.1 to see if there's any significant weight difference between the two. So I'm going to weigh both shoes for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind these are both the exact same size 9 US and both in brand new condition, so this is a very fair comparison. We'll start off with the top end X15.1, throw it on the scale, and you can see that it weighs in at 7.95 ounces, the equivalent of 225 grams. So remember those numbers, change the scale back to ounces, pull these off, and throw on the X15.3, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.1 ounces, the equivalent of 230 grams. So you're talking about a weight difference of 0.15 ounces, which is next to nothing. You're not going to notice a weight difference between these shoes either in hand or on feet. And that's kind of an interesting thing about the X line in general, is whether you're buying the 0.1, 0.2, or 0.3, as long as it's a synthetic variation, they all weigh about the same. So again, if you're trying to decide out of a top end or low end model within the X lineup from Adidas, weight shouldn't really be much of a consideration because they all weigh about the same. In regards to appearance, the X15.3 looks a lot like the 0.1 and 0.2 models. Obviously, what's distinctively missing is the little kind of tech fit material running along the edge of the heel and ankle area. Instead, you have something like I mentioned earlier that's a lot more like the leather upper variation of the X15.1. But other than that, it's got all of the same graphics. Obviously, the chaos graphic through the lateral and medial side of the shoe that some people love, some people hate. It's got the big Adidas logo on the back. The sole plate has the interchanging studs. Some are black and some are neon yellow. Obviously, when you get up close, it doesn't have quite the same look. And of course, it does have some somewhat chunky, kind of unusual laces that are a lot different than what you're going to find on the two higher end models. But nonetheless, it looks like the rest of the X line, which is kind of all you can ask for from a takedown model. They don't necessarily look cheap in my opinion, but they don't look as premium as the higher end models either. Let me know your opinions on them down below in the comment section. Do you love how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. Alright, so here is a look at the X15.3s on feet. On my left foot I have the stock laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot I have a pair of black with neon yellow dots SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, Despite the synthetic material honestly not being very premium, it actually fits pretty comfortably on your foot. They're just comfortable shoes from right out of the box. There's no other way to say it. It doesn't have quite the same feel as the higher end models, doesn't have the same grab in the midfoot, doesn't feel quite as secure. It doesn't feel quite as high end, if I'm completely honest with you guys, but they are very comfortable, which is an important characteristic for any shoe. If it doesn't fit you properly or if it doesn't fit you comfortably, it's difficult to wear, and I definitely don't have that issue with the X15.3. Width-wise, it's got some decent width to it, although I wouldn't call it particularly wide either. This is one of those synthetic materials that will give a little bit, but for the most part, it isn't going to stretch you very much. So the way it fits from out of the box is the way it's going to fit for its entire lifespan. It doesn't have the same tech fit collar design in the heel either. So I do find that the heel lockdown is significantly better than what you're going to find on the X15.1 and especially the X15.2. So that's a positive thing as well. And in regards to sizing, it does run true to size. I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, just like the rest of the Adidas X line, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. Alright guys, that is it for my first impressions of the Adidas X15.3. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for a line comparison video for the entire X line. That is something that you can expect to see in the near future on the channel, so stay tuned for that. If you guys are looking for more information on the X15.3, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $70 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the X15.3, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. All my social media information is linked down below in the description as well, so be sure to go ahead and check that out. And with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.